Hey guys, it's Heather from Kell of a Plan with another video featuring Arteza products. Arteza has been sending me some products and I've been working with them to show you guys how to use all of their different art projects in your planner. So if you haven't been watching these videos, I highly recommend it. I've been basically taking a lot of normal art supplies that you may have laying around or that maybe you're interested in ordering from Arteza, and I've been showing you how to use them in your planner. So be sure to check those out. I will link the playlist in the description with all the videos in case you want to see them. So today we're going to be focusing on their liquid chalk markers, which when you hear liquid chalk markers, you may not think, oh, that's something I'm going to use in my planner. But today we're going to use it in our planner. So let's check out what all comes in this pack. It comes with, I think, 16 different chalk markers. So we have white, and it's got one tip. Okay. We've got white. We have a couple of different shades of pink. They're all, this one I think is technically red, but we got a couple of different pinks, and it does have the colors on the side. So this is taffy pink. This is French rose. This is peach red. Interesting color name. This one is coral red, so it does have a little bit of a pink tone to it. We have bumblebee yellow, lemon yellow, parrot green, aqua green, Ferrari red, tangerine, ultramarine blue, Olympic blue, spicy mustard, lilac, lavender, and then we have these little, I think these are replaceable tips. In case your tip goes out, you have extras, so that's, don't want to lose those. Then we have some labels, which this is what we're going to be using in our planner, and some tweezers. I think these help you to pull out the tip when you need to change it out. So I'm going to keep those just in case we need them. They also might be good tweezers for stickers. I'm just saying. So I really wanted to show you guys how you can use these labels as stickers in your planner. And then we'll use the chalk markers to write on them. So it comes with lots of different labels. We have these are smaller, these are bigger. I'm going to sort them by like, oh, those are even smaller. I'm going to sort them kind of by size. Oh, those are cute stencils. Ooh, how can we use those? We've got some more cute stencils. These are actually like medium sized. These are too. Then we got tiny and medium. Okay. So first off, I'm thinking it will be cute to use one of these as a weekend sticker. So I'm going to take this one off and I'm going to lay it right here on the weekend. Now you can also use these obviously to label things in your pantry, to label things in your office. These would be really good on those buckets I have in my office to label, because then you could probably erase. We are going to use the orange one first, just because this page has orange in it. So the back tells you, it says shake it, pump it, and then draw. So I'm going to put the lid back on. We're going to shake it. We're going to press it. I'm not sure how many times. It's kind of like a paint pen, except it's a chalk pen. Here it comes. So you just keep pressing it, and then you'll start seeing the ink is starting to come to the tip. All right. So now that it's coming out, I'm going to use the edge, because if I use it on the tip, it'll be too fat. So I'm going to use the edge. And I'm going to letter weekend. Okay, then I'm going to go back and thicken the downstrokes. Okay, then I can take, this one says aqua green. I think this is going to be the closest color to this color up here. So I'm going to shake it and I'm going to press it. And what I want to do once it's pressed is I want to put polka dots on that banner. I'm hoping, because it's chalk, I'm assuming it's erasable so that you can wipe it off. But I'm hoping that it doesn't come off unless you add like water to it. So we'll have to test that out. All right. So now I'm going to use this. For polka dots. Now, one thing to note is this is a chalk marker again, so that is like making it not quite as smooth, but it shows up really well on the black ink. So the next thing I want to do, where are the tiny stickers? If I take one of these little ones and I put it like this, and then I use it and I write, again, I want it on the edge, if I can get it on the edge so it's not so thick. Date. Date night. All right, one thing I'm going to do up here is I'm going to see, does it wipe off? I think if you apply a lot of pressure, it will. Now, one thing I want to do is I want a checklist. So I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and I'm going to cut this sticker here and here, so that I have straight pieces. Can see if these tweezers will pick up stickers. Okay, what I may want to do next is cut this in half. And layer this like so, and a checklist underneath it. And then I can write to do, and then turn that into a checklist. That looks, I like it. I like it. And then I could put another one maybe here, and peel off the little tiny checklist. And then here I could write errands. dot, 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 dot. Now, I wonder if I were to just write straight on the paper, would it bleed through? No, it does not bleed through. So that's good to know. You could just use these chalk markers straight on your paper. Now these where I wrote smaller are taking longer to dry. This up here is like pretty much dry, and I can run my finger and it's not smearing off, it's not wiping off. But where I wrote smaller, it's like there's more ink in one place, and so it does appear that that's taking a little bit longer. I do think I want to use this and go back over these letters again. And then here, I wonder if I could just write straight on the page. Y'all, that like looks pretty cool because it's like thick and it's not really bleeding through the page. It is a little bit, so you may want to be, if you do this in your planner, be sure that you're doing it where you don't care if it bleeds through the back. But I actually kind of like it just on the paper like that. So maybe over here, I wonder if we could add like a design. I'm not very good at drawing. I don't know, I think that looks kind of neat, and it kind of ties in the rest. This is still wet. That's still wet, so be sure to like let it dry completely. But that is one way to use these. Another way you can use these labels is to label buckets in your office. So I have a bunch of these buckets that I bought from a local container store, and I use them on my shelves to store a bunch of items. And so I had been using black labels, but I actually love the idea of using chalkboard because then you can just erase them if you need to change whatever item is in there, and it's not that big of a deal. And so because you can just wet erase these to erase the chalk marker. And so I'm going to use this white one, and in this one I put my Canon selfie printer stuff. So I'm going to write selfie and then using the edge so that it's a little bit of a smaller tip. I'm going to write printer, put a little heart there, and then I can peel it off and put it here on the container. I may need to wait a minute for it to dry so that I'm not pressing down on a wet label. But that's going to look really good. And so then I have a few other ones that still need to be labeled. So I have one where I put new items, new product that I get in that maybe I haven't used in a video yet. I like to keep it in a bucket so that it reminds me like, hey, you haven't really used these items. So new items. And then I also have one that is just random stuff. It's like, I don't really know where to put this, so I just put it in a bucket. The rest of them have already been organized with other labels, but I'm considering getting enough chalk labels to do my whole office because I love how that looks. All right, so that is another way to use these if you don't want to put them in your actual planner like I did. This is kind of a more practical way to use these. And these chalkboard markers are great on chalkboards as well. So if you're someone who does decorative chalkboards, I love them. They are a thicker tip, but I love the way that they write. So do you want to see what they look like written on a chalkboard? Maybe we should try that out next. The final way that we're going to use these chalk markers is on an actual chalkboard. I want you guys to be able to see what it looks like to use these on a chalkboard. And so our guest room is gray and yellow. It's actually a bunch of our decor from our wedding that we saved by decorating our guest room with it. And so this is a little sign that we keep on our guest room table that says "Be Our Guest." It was done in white. You can kind of still see where I had done it, but I wiped it off, and I'm going to do it again in yellow because I think it will be really awesome in yellow. So this is the darker yellow that I'm going to try first, and I'm going to use it to letter B, because this says, I don't know if I said what this is supposed to say, but it says "Be Our Guest," and it sits on the side table in our guest room next to a bowl, and in the bowl has like a bunch of things that a guest might need if they were staying at your house. So it's got like a sleep mask and some hair rubber bands and some Q-tips and new toothbrushes and, you know, just things that a guest might forget and they don't want to like bother you for. I saw it on Pinterest. It wasn't my idea. All right, so that says B. And then the next one is going to say "our." And then I'm going to thicken the downstroke. I'm also not a chalk artist, so if you are, don't judge me. But I will say I like using these chalk markers more than I like chalk. I hate the sound of chalk on a chalkboard. I know everybody does, but I like really hate it. And so that's probably why I did this design like 4 years ago and haven't touched it again. But I'm loving it with the yellow. All right. Well, that's going to be a really thick downstroke. Whoops. It's kind of nice that I can still see the letters that were there. Although I don't do my S's like that anymore. Sorry, that's my ring going off. Matthew must be home from work. All right, be our guest. Now, I am gonna make this upside down for a minute and go back over these letters up top that have already dried. See, I know it's supposed to look chalky because it's a chalk marker, but I don't want it to look that see-through. If you know what I mean. But I may need it to wait for it to dry more because I feel like I'm just messing it up more than I'm helping it. All right, so now I'm going to grab this other yellow and I'm going to see what it looks like to outline the edges. I think this yellow looks exactly like the yellow that I've been using. I'm not really sure how they're different. I was hoping that they would look a little more different, but that's okay. All right, so that is using chalk markers on a chalkboard. So if you like these 3 ideas for how to use these chalk markers in your home or in your planner, let me know in the comments. If you want to purchase these chalk markers, all of that information will be in the description. If you like this video, I hope you hit the like button. If you want to see more of my videos, hit that subscribe button, and happy planning.